Imagine telling a new teammate the same thing every single morning. We use PNPM, not NPM. Always run tests before committing. The API handlers are in source/API/handler every single morning. That's what most people do with Claude Code. They explain their project at the start of every session because they don't know how to make Claude remember. But Claude Code has two memory systems built in. One you write, one Claude Code writes for you. Together, they make every session smarter than that last one. In next 10 minutes, I will show you exactly how both work, where to put files, how to scope rules to specific paths, and how to debug when memory isn't behaving. I am Musa. Let's stop repeating ourselves. Welcome back to the Claude Code series, the two memory systems that make every session smarter than the last one. Now, every session starts blank. Quick recap from the episode 3. Every Claude session starts with a fresh context window. Empty. Claude doesn't remember yesterday's conversation, your previous prompt, or anything you told in last week. So how does anything carry over? Two mechanisms. One, Claude.md, instruction you write yourself. Two, the auto memory, notes Claude write automatically based on your work. Both load at the start of every session. Together, they are how Claude knows your project. Next, we'll talk about the difference between the Claude.md and auto memory. So, here is the clean comparison. Claude.md, you write it, it contains instructions and rules. It can be project-wide, user-wide, or organization-wide. Best for coding standard, build commands, architecture decisions. On the other hand, auto memory, Claude writes it itself. It contains learning and pattern Claude notice. It's per working tree, best for things Claude figured out on its own. Build commands, it discovered, debugging insights, your preference as Claude interfere with them. The different tool, complementary purposes, use Claude.md to guide. Claude use auto memory to let Claude learn itself. Next, we'll talk about the for location for the Claude.md. So, Claude.md actually live in 4 different places and each one serve a different purpose. Managed for organizations, deployed by IT, applies to every developer in the company. Live at the system level path, coding standards, security policies compliance. Project, the project, your repos Claude.md at the root. Architecture, build commands, naming conventions, shared with whole team via Git. Then you got user, your preference, personal preference in slash dot Claude slash Claude.md. Just you, it's your project. Then we got local, Claude.local.md at the project root, personal and project specific. Add it to git ignore so that you know it's not uploaded. Sandbox URL, test data, anything you don't want to commit. Critical rule, all 4 concats, they don't override each other. Closer to you files load last, which gives them highest priority for Claude. When to add to Claude.md. So when to add you something to Claude.md. 4 things trigger. 1, Claude makes the same mistakes twice. Add the rule. Claude reviews catches something Claude should have known that your code base. 3, you find yourself re-explaining the same thing across sessions. 4, a new teammate would need that context to be productive, but not for everything. Multiple step procedures belongs to in skills. That's something we discussed already in previous sessions as well. Path specific role belongs to .claude/rule. We'll cover them both in a minute. Next, we'll talk about how to write it. You don't have to write it from Claude.md from scratch. Run it /init. Claude analyzes your code base, find your build commands, your test setup, your conventions, and draft a starter Claude.md for you. If you set the environment variable Claude underscore code underscore new underscore init is equal to 1, you get the new interactive flow. Claude asks what you want to set up. Claude.md skills hooks, it explores via subagent. Then it presents a renewable proposal before writing anything to disk. Either way, you start with a real foundation, not a blank page. Next, we talk about 4 rules for instruction that actually work. Now, how to write Claude.md? So Claude actually follows it. 1. Size should be under 200 lines. Longer file reduce adherence. Claude scans the same way you do. 2. The structure. The markdown header, bullet section, organized content is easier to follow than dense paragraph. Third, specify. Concrete enough to verify. You will see example in next slide. 4. The consistency. No contradicting rules. If 2 instruction conflict, Claude picks one of them. Important to internalize, Claude.md is loaded as a user message, not part of the system prompt. Claude tries to follow it. Specific instructions get followed reliably. Vague ones get interrupted. Next, we will talk about 3 pairs that proves the point. First, format code properly. Get ignored half the time. Use 2 spaces indentation gets followed. Test your changes is too vague. Run npm test before committing is ambiguous. Keep file organized mean nothing. API handlers live in src/API/handler. Tell Claude exactly where to put new files. The test for every line you write. Can Claude verify it followed by this? If not, rewrite it. For large Claude.md files, split them. Use @import. You can import any file by path. Example here, import @read.md and then @docs-git-instructions.md. Even files from your home directory like claude/mypref.md import are recursive. Files can import other files up to 5 hops deep. Claude shows you an approval dialog the first time it sees external import. One pro tip, also import agents@agents.md. If your team uses other coding agents, same rules, no duplication. But important caveat, import don't save context. Every imported file still loaded at the startup. Import are the organization, not the optimization. Here is how Claude actually finds and load Claude.md files. When you run Claude in a directory, Claude walks up the directory tree from your working directory to the file system root. Every Claude.md it finds along the way gets loaded. Take this example. You are working in API/Claude finds Claude.md at the root, then at the project/, then at the source/, then at the API/. All 4 loaded. Two keys fact to remember. 1. File concatenate, they don't overwrite. Every level contributes content. 2. A closer to you loads last. For your API slash Claude.md has the highest priority for Claude. Inside each directory, your Claude.local.md loads after Claude.md. Your personal notes win at that level. So very important. Now, when Claude grows past 200 line, split it. Use dot Claude slash rules a slash. Each topic gets its own file: code-slide.style.md, testing.md, api-design.md. Claude discover all .md files in this directory recursively, so you can organize them into subfolder too. Rules without path, front matters, load every session, same priority as Claude.md. So for it's just Claude.md modular. But the real power kicks in when you scope rules to a specific path. So this is here is a killer feature. Add a paths field in the YAML front matters at the top of any rules file. Claude only loads when it reads file matching that pattern. So your API slash design.md with path source slash API uh, star.ts only loads when Claude touches your API code. Your test convention only load when Claude read test files. The pattern are standard globe, double dash star for recursion, brace expansion for multiple extension that works. Working in slash API slash, you get API rules. Working in slash test slash, you get the test rules. Cleaner context, smaller token footprint, more relevant guidance every single time. Now, other memory system, auto memory. Without you writing anything, Claude saves notes for itself as it works. The flow is simple. Step 1, you work, you make correction, run tools, give feedback. Step 2, Claude notices. This would be useful in future conversations. Step 3, Claude writes it to the memory. What gets saved? Build command, it discover debugging insights, architecture patterns, code style preferences, workflow habits, the kind of stuff a good teammate would notice. And remember, important, Claude doesn't save every session, only when something genuinely seems worthy remembering. Inside the memory, auto memory lives at claude dash dot claude dash project slash your project slash memory. It's machine local, not sync across devices, not in your repos. Inside, there is a structure. Memory.md is the index. That's what loads at the start of every session. The other files, debugging.md, api-convention.md, pattern.md, these are all topic files. They are loaded on demand. When Claude actually reads them, here is the key rule. Memory.md is capped at 200 line or 25 KB, whichever comes first. Anything beyond that doesn't load at the session start. So Claude keeps memory.md deliberately concise. It works as a table of content pointing at the deeper notes elsewhere. Here are the most useful command in the whole video. Slash memory. It lists every Claude.md, every rule file, every memory file, everything loaded in your session. It tells you exactly what Claude can see. Use it for 4 things. See what loaded when slash open files in your editor. Toggle auto memory on or off and find what's bloating your context. If your Claude.md isn't being followed, the first thing you should do is slash memory. Verify it actually loaded. You will be surprised how often answer is it didn't. 4 problems, 4 fixes. Problem 1. Claude isn't following your Claude.md. Run slash memory to verify it loaded. If it did, your instructions are probably too vague. 2 space indent not formally noticed. Problem 2. You don't know what auto memory saved. Run slash memory and open the auto memory folder. It's plain text markdown file. Read it, edit it, delete it. Problem 3. Your Claude.md is too big. Move reference content to scales. Convert long sections of path, scope, rules, and remember, important, don't reduce the context cost. The important file is still load. Problem 4. Instruction disappear at after slash compact. Project root claude.md reload automatically after compaction. Nested claude.md files do not. They only come back after Claude reads a file in the subdirectory again. Pro tip, there isn't an instruction loaded hook that logs exactly what loaded when and why. Use it for debugging. 5 tools in your memory toolkit. Claude.md, the instruction you write for scope all concat claude.claude-rules, split claude.md by topic, use path for path specific, auto memory, Claude takes it down nodes, memory.md as an index, slash init bootstrap claude.md from your existing code base, slash memory, see open and audit everything loaded. Master these and Claude will know your project better than the most teammates. Next, we will be building your first skills from scratch. The most useful one I have personally written. Like, subscribe, and see you there. Thank you for watching.